Great radio stations across the land, joepags.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email. It's all right there, plus the live video feed. It's the Joe Pags Show. Glad to have you here. Really glad to have this young lady on. It's Lela Gallery. She is from campusreform.org. Great website, great young journalist, getting it done each and every day. Make sure you go to that website every day like I do. Lela, how are you?
I'm doing good, Joe. How about you?
I'm living the dream. Glad to have you on. All right, so you're in Phoenix, but you don't go to school in Phoenix, and we'll talk about Arizona in a second. The president was just there. Where do you go to school?
I go to school at Mount Holyoke College, which is in South Hadley, Massachusetts. Okay. So it's in Western Massachusetts.
Good. Now, Western Massachusetts, so what market would that be? Would that be the Albany, New York market, or would that be the Boston market, or something completely different? Are you near, like, Pittsfield?
So somewhere between Albany and Boston.
So, like, if you were to watch TV, where are you getting your TV stations? If you're in that area, do you know?
I actually don't know, but I'm assuming in Massachusetts. I mean, I'm assuming Boston.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I was a TV news anchor in Albany, Schenectady, Troy, New York, and in our market was Pittsfield, Massachusetts. So that's why I wondered about that. So, I mean, that part, Western Massachusetts, it might be that market, could be halfway in between. Not really that important, just wondered. You're in Arizona, though, and the president was just there. A lot of excitement when he showed up, although the national polls allege Arizona is in play. What are your thoughts?
So Arizona right now is definitely a swing state. So traditionally, Arizona has always been a red state.
Yeah.
But there's been a great exodus out of California. So you're seeing a lot of California plates when you go driving. And just walk around the neighborhood, you see a bunch of Biden-Harris signs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do go blue. But we're also very traditionally red. So it can go either way.
There's a lot of energy. I think a lot of people are going to show up to the polls because that race between McSally and Mark Witz's face, I can forget his name.
Mark Kelly?
Exactly right, Mark Kelly. So it's very close, and it really depends on what people do for that. I think you might get more people voting than usual. It's Lela Gallery. She's from campusreform.org, and we appreciate the time and the access. All right, so you are learning. We just talked about this before we started. You're learning digitally right now, although you could go to school if you wanted to. How's it working at Mount Holyoke?
So right now we are all required to be online, but for the next semester during the spring, there's a idea where we might be able to go back on campus, but I doubt it. Okay.
Very interesting. If I were your age, young and happening, I'd want to go to school because I would miss my friends and miss seeing people. But you've got to be safe, so that's something that we'll play by ear. Let's get into the stories. First of all, what is LMU? Where is that?
LMU is Loyola Marymount University, which is in Los Angeles.
Okay, and now there's something about, there's a Latina, somebody happens to be Hispanic, that supported Trump. She's been impeached from some sort of student government? What happened here?
Yeah, that's correct. So what happened was that LMU student and Senator for Diversity and Inclusion, Stephanie Martinez, was impeached for her conservative views. So the story starts back in May when a progressive student publication called The Agency unveiled old tweets of hers that showed her pro-immigration, pro-Trump and anti-illegal immigration stances. Yeah. And a lot of her peers weren't so happy about that. So they started a petition to get her impeached. But over the summer, it lost a lot of traction. But then it all of a sudden got recirculated because earlier this semester, Stephanie started a Students for Trump Instagram page for Loyola Marymount. And her peers also didn't like that. So the petition recirculated, which led to her impeachment hearings. And earlier this month, she got impeached on the basis that she violated the integrity of the Associated Students of Loyola Marymount, which is the student government.
How did she violate the integrity? I don't get it.
She supposedly didn't stand for all students, which means that she didn't stand for all for kids who were illegal immigrants.
All right, so I'm not sure I understand. So that's very strange. So she's not. If she stands for students that support Trump, then she is standing for students that she otherwise wouldn't. If she stands for illegal immigrant students who shouldn't even be going to school there, then she somehow would have been okay. That's the problem. Yeah. She has to do what they want her to do, or else she's not ethnic nor diverse enough. I mean, I don't understand. It just sounds nutty to me. So they succeeded? She's off?
She's off, but she is appealing on
Good.
October 30th. I do hope that she can get her position reinstated, because this is very concerning. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, this is a trend that's happening on college campuses where conservatives are getting impeached for their positions of power just because they are conservative. Like, for example, at Florida State University last year, the student government tried impeaching student body president Michael Murphy just because he invited Don Jr. onto campus. And then this year at the University of Florida, a Catholic student was impeached just for sharing his Catholic views with Catholic students. It's scary.
What?
It's concerning. Like, what's going to happen when these kids get into the real world and take positions of power? I mean, we could see this in the confirmation hearings with Amy Coney Barrett. The Democrats didn't want her to become a Supreme Court justice just because she was a devout Catholic. Where does this stop?
Yeah, I think that there were some dumb questions in that hearing. Thank God she's on the court, because her religion, it was never a negative before. Suddenly, we're trying to make it one. It is Lela Gallery. Go follow her at Lela Gallery, LelaGallery, over on Twitter, at Lela Gallery, and also go and check out all the reporting on campusreform.org. In that same vein, Harvard Crimson Editorial Board is condemning the college Republicans for endorsing Trump. Who exactly did the Harvard Editorial Board? Who did they think that the Republicans would be endorsing? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I guess they were hoping for Joe Biden, but that's not going to happen.
So tell me about this. I mean, how does this even go down? The editorial board of this newspaper, right? They decided this is a problem.
Yes. So what happened was that the Harvard Crimson Editorial Board wrote a op-ed slamming the college Republicans at Harvard for simply endorsing Donald Trump, which is what college Republicans do.
Right.
And they were mad about it because of President Trump's debate showing during the first presidential debate, and the fact that he wouldn't be able to denounce the Proud Boys.
I mean, come on. The whole renouncing and condemning and denouncing and rebuking of so-called white supremacy is just getting dumb. He's been doing it for decades. I don't think he really knew who the Proud Boys were. And he said, stand down, stand by. He didn't say, go kill people. He didn't say be white supremacists. That's just dumb. So that's what they said, because he wouldn't condemn this one group that hardly anybody had even heard of before this. That's why?
That's exactly right. And it's a little infuriating because you don't hear the Harvard Crimson Editorial Board slamming the college Democrats for endorsing Joe Biden, who in the past has made some pretty questionable comments about minorities that could arguably be racist.
Well, you have to understand that if you don't vote for Joe Biden, then you ain't black. You also have to understand they go and put you all back in chains. You have to also understand that he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle. And, of course, he authored the 1994 crime bill that punishes blacks more than whites. But what are we talking about? Joe Biden, that's not a big deal. All right, it is Lela Gallery from campusreform.org. Tell me I don't understand this story out of Princeton. Colleges are begging the Department of Education not to investigate Princeton. What's going on there that I don't know about?
So what happened was that earlier this semester, Princeton University, the president of Princeton University, issued a statement saying that Princeton is a racist institution. And then what happened was that Betsy DeVos got a hold of this statement and said, okay, you guys are racist. We're going to investigate you for violations of Title VI laws. So the investigation was launched. And then the presidents of Amherst College and Wesleyan University found out about this investigation, and they weren't happy. So they created a letter saying that this is outrageous that the Department of Education would do this, because these colleges have the right to acknowledge their racist history. But the problem here, it's not that these colleges aren't acknowledging their dark history. They do have a dark history.
Right.
The problem here is that these colleges are pandering to the Black Lives Matter groups and by virtue signaling that they are racist, when in reality we all know that they don't think that.
Right. It's very odd to me. Why wouldn't they want the Department of Education to investigate when, in fact, the investigation could find out that they're not doing anything wrong? I mean, if somebody wants to investigate me, investigate. You're not going to find anything wrong, so I'm not fearful of that. Is it your reporting that finds, or campus reports reporting that finds that, or Reform, I should say, that there is a problem that they're trying to hide? That's why they don't want the investigation. Because again, an investigation has two outcomes: we found something, we didn't find something.
I'm not sure, but so what happened was that so it's unclear whether or not the investigation actually happened because of this letter, since a lot of colleges and universities were citing this letter.
Right.
But I mean, I would say that if I didn't do anything wrong, I mean, yeah, go ahead, investigate me. I have no dirt. Go ahead.
Right, and the allegation is that there is dirt out there, and of course we do know about the racist history of many of these institutions. I would welcome an investigation, and then you're in the clear. It would be that simple to me. It's Lela Gallery, Gallery, Lela Gallery. Go there and follow her on Twitter. She's also a reporter for CampusReform.org, based in Arizona, going to school in Massachusetts, and getting it done nationally on this program. I appreciate you stopping by.
Great, thank you, Joe, for having me.
You're very welcome. We're back after this in the Joe Pag Show. Stay right here.
This is the